Hello and welcome to our third installment, our third episode in our mini Tableau series. This is DataCube's free online training. Today we're going to be jumping back into Tableau, looking at our happiness data set that we had a look at last week. And we're going to be talking about sheets, dashboards and stories and how they can sort of interact together. And to be able to do this, we're also going to add a few extra chart visuals in and build off what we worked from last week. So let's jump into Tableau now. So last week we fired up Tableau and we created this little sheet here which I'm actually going to name now to be top 10 happiest countries. So to do that, we used these pills. We had a dimension pill, we had a measure pill, we dragged those around. We sorted just for the top 10, filtered down, sorted by rank order, and added some colour sizes and some labels. So you'll see here that's a sheet and it's been named up here. If you've come from a sort of Microsoft background, Power BI or some other BI tools where you sort of start at that dashboard stage, where you create your visuals, you create your charts, but you can add loads onto different sheets. That's much harder to do in Tableau, so they have these different functionalities of different sheets, or worksheets as they call them, sheets, dashboards and stories. So we're going to see how these interact. So first we're just going to make a few more and tidy these ones up. So first I'm just going to hide our cards because I don't think we need these kind of like self-explanatory of what the colours and the sizes mean. And I'm just going to create a few more. So let's have a go at creating another different type of chart visual. So I think something like a map could be cool. So if we double click, you'll see here country region has this little globe, and that means it's a geographical data source. So if you click on that pill, you can see here, you could convert that to a measure, which will move it down to here. You can change the data type, so at the moment it's a string, because it's text. And here is geographic role, so that's what this icon means here, geographic role, and it's set as that country region. So if I were to double click on this, Tableau will automatically, or should do, pull in my longitude and latitude into columns and rows. So we now actually have a dot for each country in our data set, and it's automatically put that on a map. And there's two different types of maps, simple and just a map. That's what it's called. Now this isn't particularly helpful, so something we might want to do is put an overall rank again and maybe colour each country by that rank. So last time we had our top 10 and we coloured it on a sort of blue to orange, so maybe we should use that same colour. So we can click on colour here, edit colours, and that orange blue diverging, press apply on there. Now we want to make sure it's in the same order, so it was blue was the highest rank or the lowest number, so we want to make sure that that's replicated here. So if we just reverse that colour there, press apply, we'll see the blues of those Scandinavian countries with the highest ranks here. So yeah, here's 3, 1 Finland, 7 Sweden, Iceland's pretty high I think, yep, 4 UK 15th, Ireland 16th, Canada 9th, and we can see those orange and the darkest colours representing the worst ranked. So for example Tanzania 153, Central African Republic 155, South Sudan 166, Afghanistan 154, Yemen was 151, Madagascar 143. And then the sort of, as it's on a gradient, so Belarus 81, China 93, Mongolia 83, China 93. You can see how they work on that sort of sliding scale. And there's a few countries here where there isn't any data, and they've been grayed out automatically. Now with the maps up here, you can change quite a lot of options. So for example, if I were to go to map layers, there's lots of different tick boxes we can choose to change sort of look and feel of our map. So for example, if I was to untick everything, you can see that's kind of like a basic map. You can make it in a sort of dark mode if you wanted to, kind of normal. If you wanted to add coastlines on, you just get that sort of thicker line. So to finish off these sheets, to create a sort of dashboard or a storyboard, I want to make a third visual, which is this bar chart here, looking split by country, region, overall rank again, but coloured against health, life expectancy. So now we've got our bar chart, which is coloured by that health, life expectancy, and sorted by that as well, although we may want to now sort that in the kind of descending order. So we've got what's top: Singapore, Hong Kong, Japan. These are our highest life expectancy scores. Spain, Switzerland, and you can see how these don't particularly correlate that well with their overall rank. So Switzerland, they're 6th overall, but maybe 5th here, whereas the top one in terms of life expectancy actually overall rank of 34 in happiness. So you can see here healthy life expectancy doesn't correlate that well to the overall rank. Looking at all the countries, it kind of does to an extent, but not a perfect correlation. There is a general correlation here. There's a few sort of, so like Nigeria, with a very low life expectancy in terms of some of the other countries. Singapore gets a 1.14 score, Nigeria gets 0.25, and the overall rank's a bit lower than some of the neighbours. So it does generally correlate, but not perfectly. So what we might want to do here is kind of do a similar top 10-ish based on that score. So maybe around sort of this point, 0.2, 1.06. So we can just drag that into filters. Oops. Some of that, and then it would just be a 1.026. And now we've sort of got that sort of top 10 that we're interested in. Maybe there's a few many too here, so you might want to do 0.36 instead, so you can just double click on that. And I've just called that top health / life. Now what we need to do next is put these charts into a kind of dashboard so we can see them all at one time. To do that, you click on the second option down here, which is new dashboard, and you get a completely different layout here. The first thing you might want to do is change the size, so depending on what you are intending to use the dashboard for, where it's going to sit. So I might just click on full screen here for now. And then you can see that the content that we can use for the dashboard are our 3 charts that we've already made. And again, it's just drag and drop. There's some extra objects that you can bring in here, which sort of adds to that content. So if I were to just drag that in, it will size that to the size of the screen. That map we might want at the bottom. You can see automatically if you've got any filter panes or sorting orders or colors or anything on the side, then they will automatically also appear in your dashboard. And to remove those, you can just click on that if you don't want them, that is, and then remove from dashboard. And the last one we want is that top health. So again, we've got a little legend here, so we can remove that from the dashboard. And you see how the formatting is exactly as we had it in our sheet. There's some basic things you can do, like the toolbar along the top, and these options we have down here. But if you need to really go in and change something, then you have to go back to your sheet by clicking on it, or you can just click on that little drop down and press go to sheet. So for example, for something like this, we might want to remove our field labels because I feel like they are necessary there. So we can do that, hide field labels, go back to the dashboard, they're removed, got a bit more white space, a bit more space to play with, and then something like the mapping title. I feel like that's unnecessary for a map. And also, like, all our tooltips will still work. If you had an image you wanted to put in, then you could just drag that in there, choose the image, or you can remove that. There's all sorts of things you can do. These are automatically put in as a sort of tile, so you can click on these, drag them around. Tableau will kind of put them into where you've sort of dragged and dropped them. So if you wanted something to go where it doesn't allow it, or something, just say you wanted a legend and put it here, you can just change these to a floating tile. So you can click on that there, it kind of sits on top. You could have this wherever you wanted it to be in your chart, and again you can always just press undo if you want to go back and change what you've changed. So that's a dashboard, and that's, as you can see, a sort of combination of all your sheets that we've created here. To keep things tidy, you can right click on this and hide all sheets that are contained within that dashboard, and unhide them if you like. The last one is a story. To do that, I'm just going to quickly duplicate this dashboard, so that will be dashboard 1, 2. And a storyboard is a collection of dashboards. So you can, or sheets, you can drag in sheets or dashboards into this. So if we wanted our sheet here, you can add a caption in. So let's just be really generic with it, call it sheet 1. And then you can add an extra one in, and this might be our second dashboard or the duplicate dashboard. And what you can do is you can build up a sort of dashboard of multiple pages, which they call a kind of storyboard. So if we wanted our big map, and you can use these tiles at the top as sort of automated navigation panes with titles to move between your sheets or dashboards. There's also this little presentation mode at the top, so if you wanted to use this story as a presentation, you can, and just move between them, or use the little navigation arrows, which is pretty slick way, and obviously you can format these and get them looking really nice. But yeah, we'll talk about that in a different episode. So that's kind of how you can use sheets to create your charts, dashboards, which are a combination of those, and then storyboards, which is kind of putting everything all together into one big design, one big storyboard, which can be a combination of sheets and dashboards. So that's all for today's session. Hopefully catch you next week. Thank you very much for tuning in and watching.